and welcome to Miami Vice. Dun, 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 dun. It's us. No, it's not Miami Vice. You thought it was going to be Tubbs and Crockett, or Crocker, or someone or another. I don't know. Yeah. So we're here. We are lacking a few things from Miami. The weather, the celebrities, the drugs, and the ridiculously orange people. But apart from that,
Well,
we no.
I mean, ridiculous people, drugs, never know. So yeah, I mean,
All right. Well, there we go.
yeah,
Um,
you got something.
okay. Well, maybe I learn something every day. I'll
Yeah.
say that. I'm joined, as always, by the fantastic, the wonderful. Let's give it up. Let's hear it for Fabio.
Hey, hello, hello.
Hello. He's
How
the
you doing?
Italian expert that joins us. Glad to see you. Oh, and straight away, we've got
Mm.
another friend of the show. Friend of the show, Bubble Live. Bub Elvis.
What about this?
Bub Elvis. Thank you so much. It's good to see you. We've missed you. Of course, we've missed you. Glad you're back. And you are going to love this episode because it was all about motor racing. It was all about, it was all about being down, getting back up again, from the back of the grid, and forging forward to become triumphant and to win the race. Thank you.
You're talking about
Because
British touring cars, I take it, are you?
I beg your pardon.
You're talking about British touring cars, are you?
Oh no, I'm talking about
No,
motorcycling.
Uh,
of course, he's talking about the World Superbike Championship in Montmeló in Catalonia.
Oh,
That
that
was fantastic.
have you got my picture sorted for this week, Fabio?
Okay, your picture is so triggering.
N-
It's fun because it's wrong on so many levels.
what? What? Hang on. I
Only
take.
one. Yeah, no, I love it. I mean, I totally love. I love the fact that only one of them is actually from Miami Vice, and the other one is from Chips.
Chips.
But
That's right.
I guess you have to put that because he's the only Mexican you actor you can find. So it is kind of wrong, slightly racist. It's fantastic. It's like what those pictures when there is a picture of Spock and Kirk, and the
Yes.
Enterprise, and underneath there's written "May the Force be with you," that kind of
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's it.
it's exactly like that. It's
Yep.
fantastic.
That's kind of what I was going for.
I love
Kind of
it.
what I was going for.
Kinda. Yeah.
Uh, um, but I looked. I think you're gonna love this, right? Because I looked at the actual Miami Vice characters and I thought,
Mhm.
look, if I put the black guy on Sergio Perez's face,
Yeah.
people are just gonna call me racist straight out.
Yes, of course. Yeah. And then you decide to put general purpose Mexican actor from another series just because he's Mexican. That's not racist at all. That's fantastic. I mean, it's so
Oh
it's so wrong. It's
my
brilliant.
god.
I love it.
Yep. The more I thought about it, the more I
Yeah.
laughed. The more I laughed, the more
Yeah.
I went, oh dear.
Oh yeah, that was so wrong. But yeah, it's fine.
Great,
Because
thank
I
you.
mean, I'm so red. I mean, there wasn't that much of a sun. I don't know what the fuck is wrong.
Yes, thank you for
Yeah.
saying that. I enjoyed it so much
Yeah.
indeed. I enjoyed the race as well because we were,
Yeah.
of course, at Miami and we had a red flag during
Mhm.
the qualifying in the last few
Yeah.
minutes, which stopped a lot of people, especially the maximum Verstappen, um, managing to get his last qualifying run, which meant he actually qualified in ninth position.
Hmm.
Shocking. And we were all wondering, well, is this just going to be another runaway win for the Perez? You can tell by the thumbnail that wasn't the case. Nonetheless, though, uh, the qualifying positions were Perez in first place in pole position,
Yes.
a pretty good lap actually, not as
Oh.
fast as Max's P session two qualifying two session, tenth slower or so. Alonso in second place. Uh, Sainz in third place,
Yes.
and unusually the Magson in fourth place. This is how topsy-turvy this grid was.
Yeah.
So, and then some Alpine or somewhere or another.
Yeah. Gasly, and then Russell,
Then
Leclerc, Ocon, Verstappen,
thank you.
and
That's what.
Bottas. I
That's why
mean,
this DSO.
sorry, Bottas is worth mentioning because that's the first time that Alfa Romeo gets in Q3.
In
So
Q3. Yeah,
yeah,
absolutely. It goes to show that the car is, if not very good, it's at least slippery. So there, we were expecting the Williams to be up there, but unfortunately they didn't perform. We were expecting the Mercedes to bring upgrades. They didn't perform. Although it was a
well,
great
kinda.
race. It ended up being a good race for the Mercedes, considering the car that they brought with them. So there's that. But anyway, we were there at Miami, an interesting circuit, not two DRS zones, and off the line, Perez into first place, followed by Alonso and Sergio Perez coming in. So it's as they started almost, and pretty much that was what we thought it was going to end like, because, of course, this track is a high-speed track, and we just thought it was going to be one big DRS zone. They shortened the DRS zone distances this week, but still, it turns out that the Red Bull is that good that it can get past almost anything. Now, um, just to say this, on the first lap, Verstappen down in ninth place played his cards perfectly. He was cautious. He got his way through the traffic efficiently, but without any real danger. A really mature drive, at least for the first few laps. He then got to the front in second place by about lap uh, 12, something like that. After some really good overtakes, actually. I mean, easy under DRS, one might say, but nonetheless, all controlled, nothing out of place. Really quite a masterful demonstration. When he did finally get into fourth place, his tyres were blistered, especially the front left. Absolutely blistered, and I genuinely thought, right, well, that's about as far forward as he's going to be able to get. No, he just stuck with it. The tyres came back, and in fact, he managed to up his pace as the fuel was burnt out of the car, and he continued from fourth place then up to second place, eventually by about lap 16 or so. And you know, there was some interesting overtaking going on in the meantime. Most of it DRS, of course, but nonetheless, Verstappen still cut his way through. Lap 14 past Sainz, again DRS, and then we thought, well, no, this is still then. He's got to get past the fast Aston Martin. It turned out to be absolutely no problem at all. Set himself up perfectly for the long straight, and it was easily just breezed past effectively. No, I don't think any of the cars really put up any defence because there was no point. At this point, Carlos Sainz decided to pit. Unfortunately for Carlos, as he came into the pits, he kind of overestimated, locked up his brakes, and ended up speeding in the pit lane with a 5-second penalty. Wasn't to make too much difference to his race. Alonso was too fast. Alonso pitted lap 21, and that but Max and Perez pitted in lap 21, I should say, and that put Max into the lead by some distance, and pretty much it was to remain that way. Even after the Max's pit stop later in the race to get onto yellow tyres, although he was behind, he was only behind Perez by about 3 or 4 seconds. And of course, with yellow rubber, fresher, softer rubber, it was pretty much a foregone conclusion that Max would be able to get Perez late in the race. In fact, it actually turned out to be not as close as the team had prophesied earlier in the race, and it was pretty much an easy win, I think, for Max, mainly because he had the pace on Perez all race. So I don't think there was ever really going to be any doubt. Radio messages were quite interesting. They were keeping Max updated as to his progress relative to Perez. Not really the same the other way around. Perez really wasn't being told exactly where Max was very often. Later on, Christian said that he was being told every lap, but those that were on board with Perez didn't get those messages, so not really sure. After the race, Perez said he was just outdriven. However, he was clearly upset by something that had gone on. We don't really know what. The Ferraris dropped back, and the Mercedes came forward. Sainz eventually finishing in fifth place with a 5-second penalty. Gasly not close enough to take advantage of that, although it was Hamilton that actually came through into sixth place and couldn't take advantage of it. And so in the end, the positions pretty much ended up, and I'll just actually get there. Verstappen, obviously first place, some 4 seconds ahead of Perez. Again, taking it easy on his tyres towards the end. He managed to get really very late to his pit stop and make that one stop really work. Unlike most of the other drivers who couldn't do that. So again, a superb drive by Max Verstappen. Second place, Perez, disappointed that he'd had such a lead and such an advantage, couldn't convert it into the win. Third place, Alonso. Trusty Alonso in third place, drove superbly. At one point, said on the radio, "Oh, that was a fantastic overtake into turn one by Stroll." So he had time to look at the big screens as he was racing and comment on how good Stroll's overtake was. Stroll very disappointing down in 12th place. So I think that was more for moral support than anything else. Alonso, as I say, very creditable third place. That's 5 out of 6 races he's managed to get that position. Russell, fourth place, showing he's a class driver. Sainz, fifth place, disappointing Ferrari performance. Hamilton, sixth place. Leclerc, seventh place, good recovery from what was a difficult drive for him. Eighth place, Gasly, Ocon. So yeah, Alpine showing that the upgrades they're bringing and making are actually providing at least some decent results. Although when we get back to Imola next time, I think we'll really see whether they've made progress or not. Magnussen in 10th place, disappointing considering, but the Haas just lacking pace, of course. And then Tsunoda, Stroll, Bottas, very disappointing considering his starting position. Albon, disappointing considering that car should be fast in a straight line, but seems not to be. Hulkenberg putting in the usual performance behind Magnussen. Joe and Norris in 17th place, who had a nightmare once again in that McLaren. And that is the Miami Grand Prix. We go away with Verstappen leading the World Championship by even more points. And I think it is something like 13 points. I'm going to go and check it for you. No, it's more. No, it's less. 14 points. No, it's more. And that means we have a very interesting rest of the season. Obviously, Red Bull talking up Perez as if he's going to be allowed to actually challenge Verstappen. Of course, we know it's not the case. Surprisingly, though, just to mention this, because I feel I ought to, yeah, tyres. A lot of people had problems with tyres wearing. It seemed to be an abrasive surface. It did rain overnight just before the race, so it was a green circuit, and the performance came back to the hard tyre runners. So yeah, very surprising that that after such bad blistering that the tyres were able to come back. And again, probably shows that the construction is just a little too hard again. And but there again, there's something is definitely wrong this year with the tyres, simply because even on this, we're doing one stops again, even though they're blistering. So very strange. And the last thing I just say, hello, Michael. Thank you so much for joining us. Really appreciate. Thank you for the like, and welcome to the Grand Prix review. I'm now going to just pass this over to our Italian expert uh, for his little roundup, and I will actually highlight him because he's that important.
Mm.
Over to you, Fabio.
I mean, it was an interesting race. It was less exciting than I thought it would have been after the qualifying. I mean, Leclerc going in the wall just mix a little bit the grid, and I thought that with the track where it's so difficult to overtake, it might have been a little bit more exciting. Which, I mean, I guess in a way it was. If you look at the end results, it's quite obvious there are two championship right now. There's one where the two Red Bulls are racing, and where I think Perez lost a big chance to step ahead. And then there is the other championship, which was quite fun to watch. I mean, there was a good fight for all the back position, for all the position after the second one. Um, I'm not sure I agree with you with the tire thing that you said. The So on paper, the best strategy was yellow and white, which proved to be the case for almost all of them. And again, I'm not considering the Red Bulls. It managed to be the case for almost all the cars, but for I think Hamilton, which was the other one which decided to start with the white tires.
Yeah, correct.
So yeah, I mean, there was that. It was just a problem of managing how the tires will behave, and of course, I mean, Lewis is really good at managing the tires. So I will put that more on the skill of this specific driver rather than the
I
proper
see.
strategy, which was supposed to be. But regardless, really excited for the As. I Again, I slightly disagree with you. It was disappointing. I mean, of course, the position was way ahead on the grid. Still, Magnussen managed to put behind, two Alpha Tauris, one Aston Martin, two Alphas, both the Williams, both the McLarens. So, I mean, for that kind of team, I guess it was a good result. So
Hmm.
there is that.
Yeah.
Uh, as I said before about the exciting of the race, I mean, there was some interesting overtakes. Uh, I think the best one was the one that Lewis made on. I know everybody is excited about the um, Verstappen passing both. I think it was Magnussen and Leclerc, because it was
Yes.
very spectacular. But I think that the best one was the one that Lewis Hamilton did on Carlos Sainz. That was really scary and really good, because
Yes.
for the sake of me, I said, "Well, there is no space. There is no space," and he actually managed to find a little spot to get in. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I love that overtake a lot.
I
Uh,
think Carlos was very good at that point as well.
yeah, I mean,
He could have been
Carlos.
obstinate and not.
Yeah,
I didn't see anything, but no, he was
Carlos, right? I
professional.
mean, yeah, I mean, we can talk about the Ferraris, a little bit after that, because that's a whole new chapter, which
Hmm.
in my book is really brief right now. But so what else? Yeah, I mean, all the other cars they basically raced another race. Alonso was conservative, he managed. I think around the four lap number 40 or 35, something like that. He just just kept the pace. He wasn't really racing a lot. Sainz at a certain moment tried to push him,
Hmm.
and then Alonso just made a 8 tenths faster lap, which is more to the credit of the difficulties of the Ferrari rather than the values of the drivers, I think.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, I mean, nothing more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Verstappen leading or extending his lead in the championship.
hmm
Sergio, do you think he's got much of a chance?
I think that Sergio missed a big chance. Perez was the only driver before the race which said something on the line. Oh, I guess if it's a normal race, I won't be bothered by Max, which proved to be not the case because
Hmm.
Verstappen managed to race a really good race, conserving the white tires and making them last a long time. And then, of course, at the end of it, he had
Yeah.
fresh rubber yellow tires against Perez, which even if it was, I think it was 1.7 seconds ahead still after the tire
Mm.
they changed tire. I mean, it was just too close.
Yeah.
Perez had
Verstappen
no
just
chance at all.
outdrove Perez in relation to where they were in the stints on their tires. Right. So at the end of
Yeah.
the race, Perez on his on the hard tires, wearing was not as fast as Verstappen
What?
compared when he was on the same lap on his
Yeah.
hard tires, even with
Yeah.
more fuel. So that's why I'm saying he outdrove him.
Yeah. I mean, what Perez failed to do was to build a bigger gap
Yes.
at the beginning,
Yeah. Yeah.
and maybe because he thought it was going to make his yellow tires a little bit longer. But
Yeah.
the funny thing is that the art compound proved to be really good, and
Well, yeah.
I think they Perez and all the others they just had a glimpse of it. I think the lap 35 stuff like that, where it was supposed to be a drop with the white tires, and it
Uh huh.
just wasn't there, and people
Yeah.
kept pacing the same pace. So this is where I think Perez just realized it wasn't going to work,
For
and
sure.
after
For sure.
that it was just trying
I
to
mean, it
defend.
looked like they would. It looked like they should have dropped off because at one point there was a slow mo on Max's tires, white tires, hard tires,
Mm.
and there was a blister all the way around. I mean, there was like literally a big old blister right the way around the tire. So I was expecting them to drop off as well. But then sometimes, as we've known in the past, they do come back. Like once you get that blister, it's not necessarily the tire finished.
I think I think it was more graining than blistering.
No, no,
And
this was a big old fucking blister right the way
yeah,
around the tire.
no, okay. I mean, I saw the image, but I think
Mm,
it was
okay,
graining than
okay,
blistering, and if even because of how fast it regenerate. But
yes,
I mean, regardless,
that's true.
yeah, it was just
Mm, yeah,
it just
okay,
wasn't there. So
yeah, okay. So Bub says, wasn't the reception of Perez by his engineers after the race a bit cold compared to Verstappen?
I don't know. I mean, I'm not really sure about it. The Paris engineer, racing engineer, has always been a little is different, from
Mm,
from Max Verstappen engineer. So I think it's a different approach that they have. But I
okay,
wouldn't call them cold. No,
okay,
I
okay,
mean maybe they just realized that the race didn't go the way they planned. It
yeah,
might have been a little bit disappointing, but I mean,
okay. Okay, that's great. Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree. I think Red Bull especially try to not get Perez excited, so they usually underplay the emotions from the engineer. Whereas Max, they try and keep, he tends to be a little lethargic sometimes. So sometimes they
yeah.
want to put a bit of a fire up his ass, and that sometimes can help him. Sometimes he's over
Perez
motivated.
sounds like he's on Valium half the time, anyway. So.
Yeah, there you go. He needs it. But anyway, there you go. Okay, thank you very much, Fabio. I'm just now going to pass it over to our resident special host, Lucky Seven Wolfin. Welcome back, Lucky, and thank you for
Thank you.
joining us. We really appreciate it. Miami Grand Prix. Were you excited that we were going to be at Miami again?
Ecstatic, I think was the word I would use to describe my feelings.
Yes.
It, 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 uh,
I take it you have good memories of Miami as well, then, do you?
well, the most exciting thing that happened was the drivers' parade before the race, where they all had really cool classic cars that they went round the track in.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you saw it, Fabio. Did you see the pre-race drivers parade?
The what?
The pre-race drivers parade.
I think I saw a glimpse of it.
Did you see
Yeah.
the Alfa Romeo? That I have no idea what it was. I think it was Logan Sargent that was in it. It was an extremely nice looking Alfa Romeo. But
No.
anyway,
Oh no. Okay, so you're talking about the drivers' parade? No, no, I
yeah,
haven't seen that.
all right. Okay, so if you were on the right strategy with the tires, you were laughing. Hamilton and Verstappen both had the same strategy and both made good progress. Perez fighting Verstappen, it just wasn't going to happen, was it? They're completely different leagues. And I'm not sure it's all down to tires or the tire strategy that day. I think Perez is just going to be the number two driver, and that's just the way things are. It's not going to change. My man, Logan Sargent, I have to mention him. And I'll also mention for the only 16th time in Formula One history, all the cars finished.
Yes.
Did you notice?
Yep.
No DNF.
Well, I noticed that Bob has just put up this, so I've just realised that that is the case. Yes. Also, nobody retired from the race. No accidents. No safety car on a semi-street circuit. Yeah.
Yeah, I was just going to mention that as well. Nothing. An uneventful race, to be honest. Mercedes, Ferrari, what's happened to them? It's getting a bit one-horse race-ish now, isn't it? There's just nobody putting up any sort of fight. Even poor Alonso. What was he? 20-odd seconds behind? 30-odd seconds behind? It's Red Bull and it's the rest of them. And there's two different races going on. That's, I think, is the problem. But as I was going to say, my man Logan Sargent finished in last place, one lap behind. Still yet to score anything in the way of points in Formula One, but at least he finished this week. What else can we say about the race? Well, there wasn't really much to say, was there?
I don't think so. It was pretty much straightforward, like Fabio said, considering where everybody was on pole and what happened in pole. Somewhat disappointing. Not surprising, but disappointing.
Yeah, I think people need to realize.
Do you think it's down to the circuit itself? I mean, these two long straights, and nobody being able to really overtake this year, even under DRS.
No, it's the car. It's purely the car. That car is. It's 10% better than every other car. In fact, it's maybe 20% better than any other car.
The Red Bull, yeah.
Yeah, and it's going to continue this way until somebody comes with something in one of the other teams. But Ferrari and Mercedes, what is happening to them? Fabio, what's happened to Ferrari? What's going on there? Lack of leadership, lack of focus,
Okay, so first of all, I managed to get a picture of the Alpha that you mentioned before, and I think that one you're referring to was the one that Guangzhou, was on.
It wasn't
and that is a 1952 Alfa Romeo Disco Volante.
Can you share that, and we'll have a look at it?
Yeah. Hold on a second.
Disco Volante, did you say?
I think it's this one.
Yeah.
Hold on a second.
Is it the one that? Is it the one that Kimi drove around Silverstone?
No.
Wow. Okay. Now you're really pushing me, because I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. So it should be this one.
There it is. Beautiful.
Yeah. Which I think that it was. Let me see. Yeah, I think it's the same.
That's the very one. Yeah, that's correct.
That is 1952 Disco Volante Fianchi Stretti. which
See,
so this
see.
Disco Volante is the name of the car,
Ah, okay.
which means flying saucer, and Fianchi Stretti means slim slim thigh. You know, just yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, regardless, beautiful car.
Hmm.
So
Best looking car this weekend.
yeah. Uh, okay, no, the Ferrari. Ferrari, I guess it's really simple. The car is wrong.
Okay.
That's it.
Mm.
Period.
Like,
And it's wrong. It's wrong for a series of reasons. And I think it's the that this is just my opinion. I think it's the car which is wrong. And when we talk about the car, we're talking about the package.
Mm.
So
Okay.
it's the aero package and the mechanic package. Even if, again, this is just my opinion, I think that it's more wrong in the mechanical aspects rather than the aerodynamic aspects.
Hello, Brojo. Thank you, mate. Thank you for the like as well.
Yeah, and the reason I'm saying that it's really simple. I'll try to keep it super brief because I understand it gets really boring really fast. But there are two reasons why I think it's more mechanic. It has more mechanical problems than aero problems. The first one is that the car has been proven to be slow at the beginning of the race. This is in general, up until this year, and it gets a little bit better at the end of it, where the height is different, and everything is a little bit more soft, and especially because at the end of the race you put new tires, so that helps
Helps.
cover a lot of
mhm.
problems.
Mhm.
The second reason I'm saying that is that you can actually see that the car has a lot of movement. It dives a lot, and it just peaks a lot under acceleration. And the other thing is that it rolls a lot. It was really, I mean, to me, it was really telling how Leclerc crashed into the wall in the qualifying. And the reason why I crashed into the wall, I mean, you can see it's really clear from the images if you know what to see. But now I want to tell you, if you go back, you will see that he basically jumps on the curb, and when he gets down on the curb, he has a problem that the car bottoms down. It doesn't bottoms down one time; it bottoms down more than once. Bottoming
Okay.
down, it's a mechanical problem. It's a suspension problem. The way they're designed, you lose downforce because you bottom
Mhm.
down, you have no downforce in the Venturi, and it just went out, and that makes the pair with what Leclerc especially said about this race, where he described the car as really peaky. Really peaky means that it has such a narrow window where the car works the way it's supposed to be working. And if you go one way or the other, the main problem is that the car is unpredictable. And that is a big issue. And I'm not even surprised that the car performs well in qualifying, because usually when you have that kind of problem and you put new fresh rubber, that's something that you can cover that kind of problems. But during the race and the race pace, if you have those issues, they will come up multiplied. And yeah, and I
Yeah.
guess there is not too much they can do. It's a really wrong car. The other funny thing, and then I'll shut the fuck up, is that that car, and we see with all the other cars, maybe Red Bull a little bit less, all the cars on the grid are evolutions of the previous year's car. Nobody has done something really mental, including Mercedes, for example.
Mm.
So I think that they try to push the performance of the car compared to the other car, but they lost the one good things that the car had last year, which was the balance. The last year the car was way more balanced, overall. They tried to find performance, and eventually they pushed that concept too much, and now the car is basically a big, 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 big problem. big problem.
Okay, well, while we're talking about the cars, I'm correct in saying I think that apart from Mercedes and Ferrari, all the cars are the traditional, or what has come to be the traditional Coke bottle shaped cars. And only Mercedes and Ferrari have deviated off that uh, traditional way of building a car. Do you think this is a problem that's an inherent in the two cars, or what do you
N-
think?
No, I don't think so. I think that the Coke bottle shape was way more important with previous generation of cars,
Yeah.
where you had to uh, to drive, the air in such a way that you could hit, the rear wings in a way that were more efficient. Uh, these cars, the the rear and the front wing are way less important than they are. I mean, it has been, a conservative figure is that right now the wings, and I'm including it both front and rear, they account for about 35 to 40% of the downforce, and everything else are the Venturi things. So that's why it's not that important. It's way more important to have something which helps extract the air from the rear diffuser, but it's it's a different approach. So that's why the Coke bottle shape, I don't think it's that important. There
Okay.
is one thing which is really interesting though, and I just mentioned passing by, why the Red Bull DRS is so efficient. Now, this might sound, really silly, but that is not a secret by anybody. Everybody fucking knows why it works like that. And it's not really difficult. So if you are, and I'm not, but if you are an aerodynamical engineer, I've dealt with many of them, so uh, I kind of know what I'm talking about. What happens with the Red Bull is that they set up the rear in such a way that when they open the wing, they stall the rear diffuser and the B wing. The B wing is the small wing which is just on the pylon of the rear, big wing. They
Uh-huh.
stall it so it has even less drag. Now, stalling an aerodynamic component, it's not difficult at all. What is really difficult, and that's why nobody has gone that route so far, is uh, restoring the aero efficiency. Meaning that when you close the wing, you have to restore the general aero efficiency and downforce. And that is way more complicated than stalling a wing. And that's why not everybody has gone that route, and mostly because it's way, way, way more difficult. It's not like designing a new wing. It's the old package which has to get back the downforce, and that is really important because when you close the wing, you're actually braking, and you fucking need the downforce. So yeah, I would say that. Sorry.
Okay, that's good.
Okay,
That's
no, no,
good. Uh,
yeah, that is
go
definitely
go
good.
ahead. Yeah,
Uh,
I mean, I've seen similar thing. It's the the top wing. The When they open the DRS, it stalls the B wing, which then stalls the diffuser a little bit.
Mhm.
Very fucking technical. Adrian knew only material there, and the fact that it works so well, and they've got it to work so well so quickly, because this is obviously new for this year, just shows that they're pushing the car. They're
Yeah,
really pushing the design. They're not sitting on their laurels and just going, "Yeah, great."
right.
And
No,
and
you're
that's
right. You're
fantastic.
right.
And that is fantastic. We expect nothing less than from Adrian anyway. I mean, he's has more Formula One championship winning cars than anybody else. So
No, but no,
you know,
you're right. Sorry, I just want to stress out the fact that that is the reason why it's so fast. But the reason why and it's so difficult to do is because stalling is easy, restoring is
yeah,
difficult. Actually, stalling the rear wing is something that it is so easy that everybody before the new cars, they tried to avoid that, because
Yeah.
the diffuser was really important. So the all the calculations and all the design were actually to avoid stalling the diffuser, meaning that it happens more easily than not.
Yeah,
If you
yeah,
try,
putting it
yeah,
on the limit basically is what they've
yeah,
done, right? So it only takes a small amount of loss of downforce on the DRS plane in order
yeah.
to cause the other wings to stall. And being on the limit just means that they have to tune it, bearing in mind not just for it's not just something they design and then it does it. They tune it for each circuit,
Hmm.
right? And so it's a very complex system they've got. And again, Adrian being there at every Grand Prix must be quite a necessary thing.
Yeah.
Um, Sorry, did you want to say anything else there? Because I do want to move on to the next question.
Uh,
Lucky.
there, there was something I was going to talk about. Yeah,
Oh, go ahead. Yeah.
yeah, really quickly. That was the 38th win for Verstappen in a Red Bull, which is now equal with Vettel's 38 wins at Red Bull. Uh,
Wow, that's surprising.
very quickly as well. I mean, it was
Yeah.
what 2 years, 3 years, 3 years. Um, yeah, 3 years. He's
Mm.
done pretty well, hasn't he?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Let's just take a reality check and say that at the moment, I think that Verstappen is head and shoulders above the rest. And somebody needs to tell Perez that the only reason he's there is to back up Verstappen.
Oh, I'm sure he's been told that. Just to say that.
Well,
However, they can't do it directly, obviously, because, I don't know if you remember this, but when Mercedes had started winning in such a dominant fashion, they were told in no uncertain terms that they had to allow their drivers to race in order to make a show, because
yeah,
this was for the benefit of Formula One. And I dare say the same pressure is being put onto Red Bull as well. Hence, we're getting this appearance of a more even race. But if you remember 3 years ago, Helmut Marko and Christian Horner were saying, we are signing Max Verstappen for this length of time because this is effectively a one-man team. We want Max to win the world championship. This is
Yeah.
before he'd won his first one. We want him to
yeah,
be the youngest world champion, and we want him to be a multiple world champion. And they nothing's changed. Nothing has changed. That was in
yeah.
the contract, by the way.
I think Perez is now the new Bottas. Let's be.
Oh yeah, absolutely, absolutely, yeah. Although,
Which is
yeah, although
which is
obviously Mercedes had a little more of an open door policy as to the second driver, but he is the new Mark Webber, shall we say? I think that's a more accurate.
yeah, okay, that might be a more accurate description. Yeah.
Okay, so Bo has a question here. Lucky, I thought the crash from Leclerc was a bit sus. What did you think about Leclerc's crash in qualifying?
No, I think he was just trying hard. I think he was going for it. Well, I thought that as well, actually, Bob, that it might have been some sort of shenanigan move. But no, I think after looking at the slow mos, he just pushed it too far and he was unlucky. And it was a real shame because we were all expecting either him or Sainz to take it to the Red Bulls, but unfortunately that didn't happen.
He was on the limit all weekend. He had a spin he crashed. He had a spin actually in P3, I think it was FP3.
I get the impression from Leclerc that he's a guy that will give it his all unless things are really stacked up.
No, he'll crash the car if he can get any chance of getting some kind of better result out of the car, because I think he's frustrated and he's not interested in coming second.
Yeah, Charles is taking a lot of flack right now because of the car crash. The thing is that he's taking the flack for the wrong reason, because the problem again is the car. He tried to, by his own admission, he tried a very extreme setup, and with the rules that we have now, we said it
Yeah.
more and more, you can't change the setup. So I mean, his rationale was, I want to have a really extreme setup because I want to try to make the pole and then try to stall everybody because it's a very difficult track to overtake people. So I understand, the reasoning. The problem is that the car was become so difficult to
So
drive. I
tricky.
mean, Verstappen lost the car. I think it was in FP something something. It wasn't the same corner. It was the corner after that, but he recovered because when Verstappen lost the car, it didn't snap. It just
Mm.
lost traction and was able to do that. Leclerc, the car just snapped. It lost all the downforce because it bottomed down. Actually, it was
Yeah.
something that he kept saying during the race. There was something wrong with the car. The car kept, bottoming down. Also in slow corners, which
Mm.
again, that's another thing which is really worrying. It's not. That's why I said it's not more an aero problem, but more a mechanical problem. Because
Yeah.
if it's an aero problem, you can have that in fast corners, where the aero really works. But he has the same issue on slow corners, and that is suspensions. So I
Yeah.
don't know.
There
Yeah.
was a couple of
He also had the same problem several times during practices as well.
Yes. Yeah.
So it was
yeah,
that.
there's a
Okay.
couple of
The only reason he's saying that is because the 2021 Monaco qualifying, the Kia's crashed. The Kia's a stunning pole position. It's always Leclerc. Yeah, I mean, also I remember Baku from a few years previously as well, where his first big failure really in qualifying, and of course he was distraught. I think he's learned to take it a little better now, so at least he's
Sorry,
maturing.
so the 2021 was the one where he crashed, and then he had to change the gearbox, and the gearbox
That's right.
crashed. So yeah, I don't think that one can be seen as an opportunistic one.
No, agreed,
Yeah,
agreed.
I mean that would be, yeah.
It didn't really work out for him. Let's put it
No,
that way.
no, 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 no,
Not
no,
like
no, no.
Michael Schumacher's
No.
pole position at Monaco that time.
Come on. I would say more like Renault.
I'm never going to forget it. I
well,
haven't dropped it.
Schumacher got sent to the back of the grid for that one.
You're still salty, but yeah.
I am. I am.
I know. Yeah. Tough
Admittedly,
shit,
yes,
man.
he did get penalised for that one because it was
Yeah.
very obvious.
Yeah.
Unlike Nico
Yeah.
Rosberg when he did it to Lewis Hamilton. But anyway, that's Monaco,
Lewis
right? That's
Hamilton.
Monaco.
Lewis Hamilton penalised Rosberg for many a year after that, I think.
Oh, well, there we go. I think Rosberg eventually got him, so there we go.
I mean,
I don't
did,
think he was
did you
happy.
guys know when Rosberg won?
Bob says I like Leclerc though.
Yeah.
The pacey pastry. We call him the pasty pastry. The pacey pastry even. Go ahead.
No, I was just wondering. I mean, you guys probably know, but when Rosberg won the championship that year, and the more I read about it, the more I understand why at the end of the season he just gave up. That year for him, when he realized that was the only way to beat Lewis Hamilton, was something that I don't know how many people will subject to what he did. He basically cut all the ties with the family.
Yep.
He went living in a monastery. He only eat potatoes. I shit you not.
Yeah, no, I've read about it. Yeah.
I mean, at the end, because I'll be the first one to say, at the end of the season, he said he's going to retire. I said, well, I mean, what the fuck are you doing? And then I
Yeah.
read what he had to do. I said, fuck me, man, you should retire.
Yeah,
They should give you a fucking medal.
If he carried
Yeah,
on, I think he said in one of his videos, if he'd carried on, he probably would have had to divorce his wife.
He would have probably
that's
to
what
kill
I was
himself,
wait to say. If you're having to desert the marital bed
Yeah.
in such a way, then yeah, I think it's time to retire.
Well, it's just the
Especially when your
distraction
wife
of
is
it.
what she is.
He basically said the distraction of like having the family responsibilities, not just the family responsibilities, but having that relationship with his
Yeah.
wife that he had, which was very close and very sharing everything, right? Was too much for him to
Yeah.
then go away at weekends and become this steely giant of a man that's just going to crush everybody, because it's not him,
Yeah.
right? It's just not him. So he
Yeah.
was changing his personality, And
Yeah.
as a result of that, he then said, "Look, I can't keep changing my personality. If I'm a bastard at weekends, right, when I'm not racing, it's because
Yeah.
I still need to be in that frame of mind when I get back to racing. I
Yeah.
don't want to take it out on you. The only thing I can do is just not be with you for that time." So yeah, likewise, I don't blame him. He
No.
chose
No. No.
happiness over multiple world championships, possible world championships, right? So it wasn't even guaranteed.
I actually have way more respect for him right now after having read all that I had at the time. I mean,
Hmm.
a person which realizes that the only way to beat Lewis Hamilton at the peak of his career in that moment was to basically become a different person and cut all the ties and all that shit. I
Yeah,
mean, bloody hell, that is fucking commitment. So
yeah,
kudos to him.
Became a
Yeah.
Bond villain,
yeah,
basically.
absolutely.
Mhm, mhm.
Okay, so Fabio, I'd like you to get a picture for me, if you wouldn't mind, which is of Bautista's Ducati, preferably
Oh
with,
shit! Oh, you're
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Hold on a second.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
And there's plenty of time, so don't
yeah, yeah,
panic.
yeah, yeah,
Preferably, obviously, one with the no swinging arm side.
yeah.
That's the first thing. I've got this picture here. Do you want me to share this picture, Lucky?
Yeah, you should have got two pictures.
Oh yeah, two. Yeah, there were two, but I thought they were the same.
No, no,
Oh, I see.
there's another one
Yeah,
coming. This is
these
for
two.
today's trivia question.
Oh,
Um,
okay, right. In that case, we'll do that at the end. No
yeah,
problem. No
sure.
problem.
And we're going to do things slightly differently today, and we will also have a bit of a myth, but one of you two will be presenting the myth.
Okay.
So
Okay. Well, we'll let you get
we'll
to
leave
that
that as a
in good time.
surprise.
In good time.
Yep.
Okay. Let me just do this. I'm going to save this image to my hard drive because I need to do something different with it. Okay, that's great. Done that. Okay. So and now I've got something. I just want to show you how determined an example of a 3 times world champion. How dedicated you have to be. Oh, hang on a minute. We've got another just. Nick Freeze gets. Will Nick Freeze get better, or is he done? He'll get better. He will get better. He obviously comes in highly praised by a lot of people as being a fast driver, but he's very much in the Rosberg style of driving. I feel he's very fast, but getting that out of him is difficult. Getting this top speed out of him is difficult. But because he's not always on the limit or over the limit, as a lot of the great drivers are, like Verstappen and Hamilton, etc., because of that, he's extremely consistent. So if they can get him to be at one with the car and get the speed out of him, he will turn out to be a very strong driver for any team that he's in, just like Rosberg was, especially when it comes to developing cars. And I hope that they do give him time. Whether he will get time or not is another matter. I think he will, simply because he is a world champion, is he not? An world champion, is that right? Formula E. I don't know if you guys know that or not, but anyway, I actually rate him still. He just needs time. It's a difficult car. Even Sonoda obviously is struggling with it.
I think he's a
So
bit immature still, young
sure,
Nick.
well, he's a rookie,
But
right?
he's a
He's a
young
rookie,
lad, so yeah.
like Sargent, like Sargent.
Well, listen, you know something. When you listen to interviews of De Vries, he seems to be quite switched on. Whereas you listen to
Hmm.
interviews with Logan Sargent, and all I'm hearing is, "I'm out of my depth. I'm out of my depth. I'm out of
Yeah,
my depth."
yeah, it's different
And
personalities, different ways of handling
I
it.
think the American influence has brought Sargent in to Grand Prix racing too early.
I don't know, because I don't think there is such a thing as too early these days with Grand Prix racing. I think it's such a specialized discipline that it just takes time. You need that rookie year to bed in. Even Verstappen took 3 years really before he was comfortable. And look at him now. So I
Well,
think different drivers, different ways of doing things.
but there was a
Rosberg
confidence.
Rosberg took 2 years to get in with Williams, right? So
Yeah, there was a confidence with Verstappen that
sure,
Sargent doesn't have.
yeah, no, that's
He,
true. That's
he
true.
seems to be in a place where he's not comfortable being in a Formula One car, and what I mean by too early is, did they bring him in too early just to have an American driver,
Mm.
or could they have found somebody better for a year and then brought him in? I'm not sure, but he just seems to be, in my opinion, out of his depth.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's certainly out of his depth, but I don't think that's for any reason other than he's a rookie. He's extremely talented when he was compared, because he was in IndyCar, wasn't he?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah, and he did very well. And that is a tough series because the cars are very similar. There's no real mechanical advantage you
Yeah.
get from
Same.
cars
Same.
like you do in Formula One. And he did shine in it compared to the best drivers in the field there. So
Sure.
he's clearly got the talent again. I mean, obviously, all of the drivers have got the talent to do it. Whether they can step up to yet another level and understand all of the complexities of a Formula One car. And I think that's where this is why I kind of rate Nick de Vries, because he's come from a discipline where understanding the dynamics and changing the systems within the car on the fly during racing, in Formula E is really crucial. Actually, like measuring the car's performance over a whole
Yeah.
race is a very
Absolutely.
difficult thing to do.
Yeah.
And that's basically the talent that you need in Formula One right now. So I think Nick is just, all he's got to do is learn to drive the damn thing, and then he'll be flying. Whereas with Sargent, he's got a lot to learn, and that's where I think he's out of his depth, because he just doesn't know how to learn how to manage the tyres at the same time as
Sure.
managing the car and
Yeah,
all of
I'd
the
agree with
changes
that.
that you need to do. So that's my.
I don't
I
think
think.
that there's
Mhm.
really a problem with De Vries. I think it's just he's young, and he thinks that his youthful enthusiasm will get him through. But Formula One is not like that these days. You need more than youthful enthusiasm.
Yeah, he's a very competent driver, so I'm
Yeah,
hoping everything's be
absolutely.
fine. Okay, I'd just like
Yes.
to just go on to my little bit, which I've got planned here. So I just say I've got a screen of a three times world champion, doing what world champions do the best, which is against all odds they succeed. And this is I'm kind of putting this up here as a kind of a this is what Verstappen is kind of like, I guess, in some sense, and Lewis and Sebastian, etc., etc. They overcome the odds. So I'm just going to play this and comment over it at the same time, of course. Here it is, and we'll see how it goes.
Underneath there, I guess that's going to be a no, because even Sir Jackie is not allowed through there. You all right, Jackie?
Yeah, sure. No, wonderful. What a
I'm just going to take a second to play this, but it's going to be a little bit cut in changey because it needs to be, because it's Sky, obviously.
So I'm going to give Roger a shout. Roger. Right. Yeah. Can you get in there, Jackie? Roger. You can't beat up Jackie, so Jackie Stewart. You really can't. Jackie, don't get yourself in trouble for me, for goodness sake. That's Liam.
Okay, security guards just trying to stop them getting
there
to
with his ice
Roger Federer.
Yeah,
But
I've only
Jackie
got
just
30,
goes,
30
"No,
seconds
I'm Jackie
anyway."
Stewart.
Yeah, and I've got 20 seconds. Yeah,
Notice how George gets in there. Yeah, I
15.
know Roger Federer.
No,
George knows it.
we're out of time, unfortunately. Oh,
And Jackie in there just grabs him.
The fastest
Look at
serve in your
in the
life.
background.
How are you? See you on the grid.
See you too. Thank you.
All right, good stuff. Who are you cheering for today?
I'm cheering for Lewis and George.
There we go. I just wanted to show that Jackie Stewart just gets in there and goes, "Yeah, fuck it." And there's a few shots you missed, but basically two guys, as soon as Jackie went under the little bit of tape there to stop people getting in, two big guys just went straight to him and tried to stop him getting to Roger Federer, and he just went, no, and pushed through these two big burly guys that were trying to stop him, right? And then he just went straight up to Roger, grabbed him by the arm, and went, "Come over here, Roger. Come over here. I need you. I've already said to these guys you'll talk to them." And no one can say no to Jackie Stewart.
No, you can't say no to Jackie.
So there we go. But yeah, that made me laugh. Okay. So thank you for that. 3 times world champion. That's what they do. They overcome any obstacle.
Yeah.
Okay. Are we're over an hour, guys. So
Yeah.
is there something
So
else you'd like to say? I've got you in mind, Lucky. What a
I've,
character. Yeah,
I've,
yeah. What a character.
I've got the images you asked for.
Yes, please. If we could just have a look at what is quite potentially, I believe, the most beautiful motorcycle I've ever seen, and possibly that anybody has ever seen, I believe. So here we go.
Might
Look
argue with that.
at that.
So yeah, I've got a couple of pictures. This I don't know where it was. Oh yeah, no, I know. Actually, that was last 2 weeks ago, where he
Okay.
won the 400 races for Ducati in Superbike.
Wow.
And yeah, of
Oh,
course, I mean this one is kinda, yeah,
yeah, yeah.
and this one is in Assen.
Can you send me that one? I need
Yeah,
that as
yeah.
my screen, my desktop for a little while.
It's a beautiful bike. I would say that I think there is a version of the Panigale which is racing this year, which I think it's a bit better, and it's one raced by an Italian rider named Axel Bassani. The
Hmm.
bike is the same. The only thing we changed, which I love it, is the rear exhaust.
Yes.
It's from Terminioni, and it's shaped like that as opposed to
Yeah.
the one from Alvaro. Let me see, that he has a
Just down the
Krapovic,
shot.
and it's
Yeah.
got two there and another one there, which makes it a little bit weird. But it's just, you see, I mean, this one over there. I mean, it's just really nitpicking.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't like the black wheel. You need the silver or white
yeah,
silver.
yeah, yeah,
To show up the fact it's got no swinging arm, which I love,
yeah,
absolutely love. But it's not just that; the styling as well
yeah.
is superb on that machine. It looks very mean haunched, and yeah, oh,
There was
what a
I
motorcycle.
don't know, I don't
I'd
know
like
how
I'd like to see the production version of that as well.
Well, I mean, production version, funnily enough, it's very close to what you can see there.
Yeah,
I mean, visually
without the
wise,
branding, I mean, it
oh
must
yeah, yeah, yeah.
look better. Mm.
It's not that difficult, that
Okay,
different.
thank you so much for that.
Yeah, I'll
Uh,
send you
and
pictures.
please, yeah, if you could send me the just that one that I need.
Yeah.
Look at that. Look at that.
Oh, that's another bike. I just put it there for shit and giggles because I
What's
think
that?
this
That's an
is
RC45, is it?
no, this is the motorcycle which race in the Super Sport Championship, and that's an MV Agusta 800.
Oh,
And I
okay.
think it looks even more gorgeous than the Panigale, but
Uh,
that is just me.
yes, that is just you. But okay,
Yeah,
never
okay,
mind.
yeah.
Thank you very much for that,
Anyway,
Fabio. I'd
welcome.
like to pass it over now to Lucky, if I may.
Okay, well,
Okay,
can I get you to show the last photograph that I put in Discord there?
that's the one you want first, is it?
Yeah, the very last one I just put in.
Okay, let me just open it up so I can get it a bit bigger. Okay, it's there, but for okay, there we go. Present screen share. That one, and share. There we go. Is that right?
No, that's not the one. Never mind. We'll come
Oh,
back to it.
you want the other
Okay.
one?
No, hold on. You need to scroll down a bit in Discord. But
Oh, okay. Beg your pardon. Let me just stop sharing that then. Discord is somewhere. Sorry, I've got too many screens open. Right, I don't have Discord open. Hang on, I must have closed it. Do-do-do. Oh, the Honda.
yeah,
Okay, yeah. We can do that. Open in the browser. There we go. Screen present. Question. There we go. And let me just make that huge. There we are.
that was my bike.
Wow.
A homologation special Honda CB1100 RC. Now that bike I bought in 1984. That
Oh,
was the only thing on the road even remotely like it in those days.
yeah.
And it was the coolest bike you could buy in those days.
Yeah,
However,
yeah.
it ended up in the side of a Capri.
They
But
don't they
that's
always.
another story.
They
Okay,
always.
so we're going for some trivia.
Right. So which one do you want now?
Okay, I'll just mention this. The Ducati with the single-sided swing arm looks very reminiscent of the Elf Hondas
It does. Yes.
that raced the 500 GPs in the 80s, if you remember them. They
Not the
had
five. Not the 500. No, but the
Yeah,
RC 45. Yeah.
it was a special. It was a Honda engine, but I'm trying to remember who built the frame for it. But it didn't have forks at the front. It had basically what was a swinging arm on the front as well. Fabio obviously remembers them. You remember them, Fabio?
Yeah. I mean,
Black
so
Elf bike.
well, the thing with the Elf Honda was, the front end, basically. I mean, because the single
Yeah.
sided swing arm has been going around for, I mean, age. I mean, the Ducati 916 had a single sided swing arm.
Yeah.
On the RC 45
The
at
30 as well. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, there was a Gilera 125 which has a single side. So the single sided swing arm at the rear is not really that new. The Elf Honda was a little bit different. Yeah, it didn't really work that well. It was
No.
really
No,
complicated to set up. So
yeah,
yeah,
it was a hard
the
bike.
only proper, I mean, I would say that the only bike which managed to have a different front, without the forks and stuff like that, which really works, it would be the Bimota Tesi, and also it took them like 20 years to set it up. So
Okay. Who was it? It was what was the guy's name? It was a French guy that drove the Elf Honda, or rode the Elf Honda, whose name I can't. Was it Veloche or something?
uh
Raymond Roche. Was it Raymond Roche?
Raymond Roche, yeah, the rider, yeah.
Yeah, that's it. Anyway, moving on from that. Today's trivia question. You've got two pictures there. You've got one
Yes.
of Keke Rosberg that you showed briefly.
Right. Which one would you like first? That one or the other one?
Well, we'll go with Mike Hawthorne first.
Okay, Rick.
And we'll give a brief.
Present. Yes. Go screen. Mike Hawthorne. Share. There we go.
Okay, that's Mike Hawthorne, the first British Formula One world champion, won with Ferrari in 19 something. Unfortunately, diagnosed with a terminal illness and died the following year in a road crash in the London North Circular, I think it was.
Oh, okay.
Samos. Anyway, he died in a road traffic accident while he was still champion. The other picture you've got is Keke Rosberg.
Correct. Yes. Let me screen share that one. Oh, where's it gone? Oh, because it's. Oh, there it is. Right, it's because it's not full screen in my thing. Okay, there we go. Present, share screen, window, Keke. Right, there we go. There he is, the man himself.
There is that man.
Or is that Nigel Mansell?
Well, no. This is the only man who could out-mustache Nigel Mansell. Keke Rosberg.
Yeah.
Now, there are rumors that Donald Trump and Nigel Mansell got their mustache and hair from the same breeder, but that is only a rumor, I must stress. Okay, so Keke was also a first. He was the first Finnish world champion. Wasn't killed the following year, is still alive and well, and of course is Nico Rosberg's dad. Now, these guys were both firsts in winning championships for the countries, but they also had something else in common in their championships. One thing in common in their championships. Now, what was that one thing that they had in common?
Oh,
Do
I
you
could get.
know?
Fabio, do you want to guess first, or would you like me to
No,
guess first?
I have no idea.
Well, my
Okay.
guess would be
Oh,
something like
hold on,
the number.
hold on. We're going to play this slightly differently today because
Okay.
what I'm going to do. Well, the questions so far you've both previous questions you both got, so you're both in 2 points each. If you can get this question right, I'll give you 3 points. However, if you need clues, we will go to the DRS, which is don't remember something, and we'll see if you can get it from there.
Tenuous, but I like it.
You get if you get there'll be 2 DRS zones, of course, as usual.
Mhm.
If you get the answer on the first DRS,
Right.
you will get 2 points. If you get it on the second DRS, you'll get 1 point. So even though you can't get it straight away, we'll give you some clues.
Okay. Well, I'll go first then. I'll say,
Go.
is it the number of points that they won the championship by?
No,
Okay.
but you're on the right track. Now,
I have no idea.
okay, well, here's the first DRS zone. It was one thing that they both did.
It was what?
One thing.
One thing that they both did.
Yes.
What year was Rosberg? Was it 82?
Yes. 82.
82. See, 82. I think they won without like finishing the season or something like that, maybe.
You're getting there. You're getting there.
Because they had that
Fabio,
big crash.
Something for you. Something for you.
They won without making any pole positions.
No.
Without winning a race.
You're getting very
I
close.
think Keke won the race. I wasn't going there, but I think he won the race. I kind of remember he won the race.
I'm sure Mike did as well, to be honest. But
yeah, no, I don't know. I really have no idea.
Yeah, I'm pretty much stumped here.
Right. Okay. Not too easy.
One more clue. We got one more clue to go.
One more clue to come. One more DRS to go.
If you know, Bub, by the way, please shout out your guesses. You can just
absolutely.
guess at any time.
Anybody in chat that wants to guess at this,
Yeah.
you will also get awarded points, perhaps.
Oh yes. No, we'll give him some Simon's penis points.
And we'll arbitrarily award points to anybody who wants to answer.
Okay. So it's not the number of points that they both won the championship by a small margin or something like that, right?
No,
it's not. It's not that they didn't have any wins. And what was your guess, Fabio? It's not
the pole positions.
No pole positions. Okay. Smoked. They both smoked. That's probably true. Yeah, but there are many others we could have picked out for that one. James Hunt especially, right? Yeah. The only person that fucked in the back of a Formula One car.
Yeah.
Anyway, carry on.
Okay,
What's
well,
the last clue?
Again, going from the answer is actually in the question and the clues I've given you already. Okay.
It's not helping.
But we'll give you
the answer's
one more
in the question. What do they have in common?
Yeah.
They both only did this once during their season.
Well, they won. They only won once.
That's it. You got it.
Oh, okay. So we were on the right track.
The only 2 drivers to win the championship, but only win one race during the season.
Okay, well, there you go.
I'm sorry, I have to invalidate the whole thing just because you guys said, he's the most famous, mustache in F1, and you mentioned Mansell.
Yeah.
And I think you guys, and I will just, give a pass to Wolfing, not to you, Simos.
Okay, let's see it. Let's see it.
This is what you're forgetting.
Okay, I'm not even going to look.
Oh, it's
Man.
Clay.
I mean, really.
Is that
I mean,
Rodriguez? Is it?
it's Clay Regazzoni. What the
That's
fuck?
Clay Regazzoni. My God, I didn't recognize him.
Come on.
Oh
Come
wow.
on.
Yeah, no,
I
that's
got,
a big.
I got even bigger mustache, but
That's a big foul for me because,
yeah.
like I told you, I had a Clay Regazzoni helmet as my first.
I
helmet.
know, right? I mean,
Yeah.
how the fuck did you did that?
Yeah. When I was on my Suzuki AP50.
Yeah.
A Suzuki
Yeah.
AP50.
Anyway,
You mean you didn't have a fizzy Yamaha?
No, I had the more superior Suzuki AP50, for which I got done speeding a massive 52 miles an hour.
nice.
Yeah.
Those were the days when there
Oh,
was no restriction on 50cc bikes. In
Oh,
the
it's
UK.
standard. Right. I didn't.
Yeah.
It wasn't tuned at all. I'm not bored out at all.
That's
I
right.
made.
Yeah, the Suzuki and the Yamaha were the two to have
Oh yes.
for
Yeah,
sure.
yeah.
And
But,
then they changed the 250 law down to 125s on my 17th birthday year,
Oh.
which was really fucking disappointing.
Right.
Suzuki took out the X7, which is good for over 100, and then Yamaha took out the
Long
LC250.
beard.
X7 was nice. Yeah, I remember that one. Suzuki. Yeah.
I actually had an X5, which was basically
Okay.
the same thing, but with a 200 engine instead of a 250.
Okay.
But
Okay,
I missed out on the 250s with no license. It was a bit of a shame.
Right. I was lucky when I was like, I don't know, maybe 16 and 11 months. I applied for a cancellation test,
Oh
and
yeah,
it came through just after my 17th birthday.
nice.
So I did my tests like 7 days on my brother's 125 after I became 17 and passed. And so I went straight to an LC 250.
Oh really? You
Yeah.
lucky bastard, you.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we hated people at LC 250s because they had the best bike on.
Yeah. Well, the first bike I rode, like on the streets, I was riding like trials bikes and things like that, endurance bikes off road, when I was like 12 and 13. But the first one I rode on the road on the streets was an RD 250.
I had an RD 250, yeah, for a wee while.
Yeah, nice bike.
That
My brother's friend came round with it, and I went, "Oh, give us a go." And my brother, right, being my brother, my mate, this guy looked at it and went, "Oh, hang on, we just got a couple of comments. I'll get to your comments in a minute, but my brother, my mate, looked at him and goes, "Oh, can he ride?" My brother just looked at him and went, shrugged his shoulders, "Yeah, maybe," kind of thing. And my brother just never saying anything definite. So this guy just went, "Oh yeah, there you go." He had no idea that I was like 14 or something. So I jumped on this RD350 and went off the fucking road in second gear. Oh my god! Brought it back again.
I only actually sat my test so I could get a racing license. In those days, you couldn't apply for a racing license without a full driving license. So
Yeah.
I'd go and sit my test to get
Okay, right. So here we go.
Yeah, I got the answer to Bob Elvis about long beard. I mean, this is Valtteri Bottas, and of course, he didn't race with that beard, so I don't know. It doesn't qualify. But we have Harald Hertel, and he raced with that, with this face furniture. So
I love it.
yeah,
I love it.
I guess it's good enough.
As we're going down the beard conversation, John Watson was also famous for having a beard.
Well,
until he won the Austrian Grand Prix, and he had made a promise to Roger Penske that if he won a Grand Prix, he would shave off his moustache and beard, and that's exactly what he did.
Fair enough. Yeah, I can't think of many others, but a lot of moustaches because it was the 70s when I first started watching. So
look at Keggies. I mean, those were the days when you had to have a moustache. You didn't have a moustache, you were a pariah.
Absolutely. Well, I guess. Anyway, Thank you so much, guys. Next week,
Are we
what
not
is it
doing a myth?
next?
I was going to
Sorry?
get one. We're going to do a myth, Formula One
Oh,
myth.
I thought we'd done it already. I thought the myth was.
No, that was a trivia. We're going on to myth
That
now.
was the trivia. Okay, we're
That
on
was
to the
trivia.
myth, guys.
And with a special guest myth presenter who is yet to be announced. We talked a couple of races ago about Anderstorp 1978 and a certain car that won its one and only race there. Go back 2 years, and there was another car that won at Anderstorp. Its one and only race. Can you remember what it was?
Oh my goodness. So there was another one that won the Swedish Grand Prix. Is that what we're saying?
Yep. It was,
In 1976.
yeah, very famous car.
So that was. Hang on. So that was
home.
Nicky. That was Nicky Lauda's year. Was it 76 or was that James Hunt's year?
It was Hunt's
Lauda.
year.
76 was I
Hunt.
think it
Maybe
was
it
Hunt.
wasn't 76.
Yeah.
Maybe it wasn't
I think it
76.
was Hunt.
Yeah, 75 must have been Nicky's year then.
Hold on. Let me
76
just
I
check
think
this.
it was Hunt.
Check,
Yeah.
check this.
Okay, so
Okay, so anyway, it was the Tyrrell six-wheeled car. that
Yeah.
won.
the
One
Tyrrell
and only
6
race.
wheel.
Yeah, I was going
Wow.
to say that. I know he won one race. I think he won in 76.
I'll check the actual the date. I think I'm sure it was 76. I'm doing this off the top of my head. But there's a myth surrounding the Tyrrell six-wheel car and Ferrari. And special
Yes.
myth guest presenter Fabio is now going to tell us about is it or is it not a myth that Ferrari spoke to Goodyear about tires? Tell us, Fabio.
But you're talking about the six-wheel thing?
Yeah.
Yep.
It's a myth.
It is a myth.
It's a myth. Yeah.
Okay, it's a myth.
The main problem was that I know about the myth, and I know about it because I remember an interview that Forghieri gave about that thing, and he just said, it wasn't the case. The real reason was that basically Goodyear was going to make those tires just for Tyrrell with those sides, and they basically have no development. I mean, they couldn't justify the money to develop those. So that was the short version, which I understand it's less conspiracy driven, but yeah.
Okay, so it was indeed a myth that Ferrari put a spanner in the works of the six-wheel car because of its small front wheels, which were only 10-inch, and Goodyear.
Yeah, I mean, as far as I know, it's a rumor that is there, but but as far as I know, it's not substantiated by facts. So
right.
that
Okay.
would be what I know and what I recall.
Okay, but so do I recall a picture of a six-wheel Ferrari at one point? Development
was-
only.
they
Yes, there
did a six-wheel Ferrari, but just to spite the federation.
Yes.
And basically, what they did, they put four wheels at the back. So there were
Like the Williams, yeah.
Like the Williams.
Well, no. It's even worse than that. They were like twin wheels, like on a truck.
Oh, I see. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. No, I have seen a
Like
picture
the
of
old Mercedes used to do.
that. Yeah.
Just to fuck with them.
Oh,
So
yeah.
okay, you want six wheels? We're gonna put two wheels. Four wheels at the back. So now what the fuck are you gonna do? That was yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah.
Okay, there was one other six-wheel car. Do you know what that was? Can you remember?
Yeah, the Williams. The
Apart from
Williams made another six-wheel car. That was super complicated because you had four wheels at the back, and they were all driven. That was extremely complicated.
Yeah. Apparently very fast though, being a ground effect car. However,
Yeah, I mean it was very fast. The problem was that it grenaded all the transmissions. So
yeah. And the suspension apparently was a
Yeah.
nightmare. Yeah.
But there was another manufacturer made a car with 6 wheels. Can you remember who that was?
A 6-wheel car. No,
What,
I
in
don't.
Formula One?
It also never
In
raced.
Formula One?
Yeah, it
Um,
was the same as the Williams, had 4 wheels at the back. A team a team that is long been confined to the histories of Formula One.
I don't know.
no,
March.
you got me.
It was a March.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense actually.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Okay,
Ne-
interesting.
Never raced. So anyway, that was today's trivia, and today's myth by
And
our
today's
special myth presenter, Fabio.
Thank you so much. Yeah, no, thank you for those. It's really interesting to end on some trivia about Formula One, which makes us get our fucking Google boxes out and start thinking. So thank you for that. Thank you for the show. Thank you to you both. Thank you to the audience. Thank you, Bub. We've really appreciated you being
Yes.
back. So please come back next time. When are we back next time for Imola?
19th of May, I think.
Okay, is it 2 weeks or 3 weeks? That was what I was really
2
asking.
weeks. 2 weeks.
2
I
weeks.
think it's 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay,
Sixth.
that's fantastic. So we will see you in a fortnight. And
We
again,
better mention.
Can you just
we better
say
mention-
finally a fucking circuit? Like
Oh,
God
yeah.
intended
Well,
to be. Yeah.
Here's another question. What happened to fucking San Marino Grand Prix? Why is it not the San Marino Grand Prix anymore?
Because sponsors. I
Yeah,
don't know.
guess.
Fair enough. Okay.
No,
let's just-
there is. So the main reason is
check,
that
check out this. It's the Qatar Airways Gran Premio della in
Yeah.
Italy.
yeah.
The
The thing that it used to be that as a nation you could not have more than one Grand Prix.
yeah.
So it was called the San Marino. San Marino is like a nation state, which is not far from Imola. So they just found that scapegoat and say,
Loophole,
okay, I
yeah.
will call it a San Marino Grand Prix.
And no one
It's like
complained.
it's like when they used to race 2 races in Great Britain, and one was the European Grand Prix for some reason. You remember that?
One in France,
Yeah.
one in
One of
Scotland.
France. Or Donington. Remember the Donington one? Oh,
Yeah,
that was
yeah.
a fantastic race, wasn't it?
Now,
One
how
was
good
the UK GP and the other one was the European GP.
Great,
Which,
Great
of
Britain,
course,
Europe.
now they couldn't do anymore because of Brexit. There you go.
That's true. That is absolutely true. Also, just to mention that the European has moved around. We've had it in Spain. We've had it in
Yeah.
Germany.
Oh, yeah.
So many other countries
Portugal,
have done the same thing. Okay, look, we're really way over time.
Yes.
And I don't want to go any further because I am
Look-
knackered.
And I
Look
want to
out-
go
look
to. I
out
have
for
to
the
go to
new-
sleep. So
Yes.
Look out for the new tire rules in qualifying coming up.
Oh yes. Okay. So there's going to be the sprint qualifying. Is that what we're talking about?
No, there'll be a sprint qualifying, but the qualifying is going to be split into tires.
yeah, they're gonna be a fucking mess
Q3
out of
is
it.
gonna be-
Whatever.
yeah, this is another attempt to randomize things, I think, by Liberty Media.
Oh,
I'm
Jesus,
just not
really?
fucking sure about. But the rules are going to be for qualifying 1, you get hard tire. For qualifying 2, you get medium tire. Qualifying 3, you get soft tire.
Soft tire.
And this is some magical way of not using so many tires, according to Pirelli.
Yeah, it's nonsense.
It would-
There you go. It's a nonsense.
I think you summed it up quite nicely.
Yeah, I don't know. I'll have to look into it, and we will talk about it extensively. Because you know what? Tires are my thing. So we will talk about that next time.
Yeah.
All I
You
can
can't-
say is, if tires are hard enough as they are, to put gimmicks on top, that is a
Oh, you muted yourself there.
Yeah.
there's a reason why I muted myself there.
Yeah.
And then also, just to say this, because I haven't actually seen it, but what I think about them messing with tires is very much the same thing as a particular engineer we all know says about tires. My crack says this is fucking shit. Okay, there we go. Thank you very much, guys. We really
I
appreciate
agree,
it.
mate. Thank you for
Cheers.
that, mate. Those words of wisdom.
Absolutely, my crack. Yeah. And we will all see you in 2 weeks' time.